Hey everyone, I'm Biggie Sweats and welcome to my channel. I know I've been away for a little bit, but we are now back and ready to kick off some of these Dragonflight pre-patch sort of builds and setups that you can go on each spec and each class that you play, just to make it a bit more fun, or so you can maximize your damage and learn your talents and class going into the next expansion. Ignore any sniffles or coughs or little voice weirdness, as I am ill right now, which sucks, as the pre-patch just come out and I just want to slam it, but I'm ill and all I want to do is stay in bed as well. But what I'm going to show you today is Outlaw, Rogue, Dungeon and Raiding, sort of the best talents that you can play around with and have maximized success in your PvE environments. I'm also going to tell you about the legendaries and covenants that you should be running, because some of them have changed. So let's jump straight in and we can show off the talent builds that you should be running to get this big damage. So I've strapped myself down really small because before we start, I want to show you guys how easy it is to set up talent builds and import talents and all stuff like that now. So this is a talent page that you are greeted with, right? So if you click down here in the bottom left, you can see this. You can import talents, basically just copying a code and naming the loadout, and that imports all the talents of someone else. I'm going to include these imports down at the bottom in my description so you guys can easily get them into your game. But as you can see, I've set up so many different builds right now, and I'm just playing around with all different talents and all different builds to see what's maximized damage. Now, there is a few like talents that must be taken for dungeons and raiding, etc. etc. I'm going to go into that a bit more in depth. Let me state before we get into it, this is a beginner guide. I have done some research and figured out talents that are perfect for you is if you're jumping in with these talents first off, and these, what I would say, are your best single target and raiding talents for Outlaw Rogue. These are probably set to change and will not be the same talents you'll be rocking at endgame in Dragonflight, but for now in the pre-patch they are very good. So this is Outlaw Rogue. This side of the tree is your rogue class tree. You get access to this on every spec, and on the right side of things is your spec tree, so this being Outlaw. Now, like I said, this is for raiding and single target, so we're going to jump straight in. The left side of the tree, you want to go with Shiv, which dispels enrage effects and applies a concentrated form of your non-lethal poison. Then into Evasion, which is your defensive, making you take no melee damage and increasing your dodge chance by 100% for 10 seconds. Then into your Antrophic Poison. This is new. Crucial weapon with a non-lethal poison that lasts for 1 hour. Each strike has a 30% chance of poisoning the enemy, reducing their damage by 3%. So the damage they output to you and your raid team. Then into Fleet Footed, which is just a movement speed increase. Then Virulent Poisons, which is increases damage of your weapon poisons by 10%. Then into Deadly Precision, increases the critical strike chance of your attacks that generate combo points by 10%. Then into Big increases your maximum energy by 50 and your energy regeneration by 10%. This was an old talent. Then on this middle row, we are going into Nimble Fingers. Energy cost of Faint and Crimson Vial reduced by 10. Then Iron Stomach increases the healing you receive from Crimson Vial, healing potions and health stones by 25%. This is great in any environment where you're going to be taking fat damage. Then the middle row, we are going Blind, which disorientates and stuns the enemy. Then we are going into Faint, which makes you take less damage from area effect abilities. Then we skip out on these two into Cheat Death. So Cheat Death allows you to take a lethal hit and it won't kill you. So it's so good for raiding, as a lot of damage can be chunky. Then we're going into Feast Versatility. Versatility increased by 4%. 2 points in this. It's just a flat out stat increase. Then into Acrobatic Strikes, which just increases the range of your melee attacks. Then into Recuperator. Slice and Dice heals you for 1% of your maximum health per 2 seconds. Then into Echo and Reprimand, which was a Covenant ability for Kyrian, which we now get access to. And then we are going into Resounding Clarity. That is your middle row. Then in this row here, we're going Alacrity. Your finishing moves have a 10% chance per combo point to grant 1% haste for 15 seconds, was also a talent. And Deeper Stratagem, which was also a talent as well. Gain 1 additional combo point. Your finishing moves that consume more than 5 combo points have an increased effect, increasing moves deal damage by 5%. Then the final row, we are going from Sap into Cloak of Shadows, then into Tricks of Trade, then into Shadow Set, which is nice for Outlaw to have because we didn't have this before, and then into Tight Spender. That is your rogue class tree. So every rogue gets access to no matter the spec. That's your rogue one. And now the main bit, the bit we all want to hear, the outlaw section. Now, we're going to start with opportunity. So this basically is the legendary that we was using before. That's why we've had to swap legendaries for outlaw, because they've basically made it a talent in the outlaw tree. So Sinner Strike has a 35% chance to hit an additional time, making your next pistol shot half the cost and double damage. Then Weapon Master, Sinner Strike has increased chance to strike an additional time. Then into Combat Stamina. Stamina increases to flat out stat boost. Then into Swift Slasher. Slices dice grants an additional 2% attack speed per combo point spent. And then on this side, we have Ruthlessness. Your finishing moves have a 20% chance per combo point to spend to grant a combo point. Then Devious Stratagem. Gain an additional max combo point. Your finishing moves that consume more than 5 combo points have the same effect. So basically, you have Deeper Stratagem and Devious. So you have mega combo points and like super damage if you're spending them at max. And then we have Heavy Hitter. Attacks that generate combo points deal 10% increased damage, which is huge because the amount of times you're spamming Pistol Shot and Sinister Strike is crazy. Then on here, we have Loaded Dice. Activating Adrenaline Rush causes your next roll of bones to grant at least 2 matches. So you're sort of guaranteed to have a good roll of bones. Hence why you start the fight with Adrenaline Rush. Then through the middle, we have Combat Potency. Increase your energy regeneration by 25%. Huge. Then we have Adrenaline Rush. Increase your energy regeneration rate by 60%. Your maximum energy by 50%. And your attack speed by 20% for 20 seconds. It's a major CD. So you will always take this. Then we're going I still haven't learned to speak in this whole time. Restless Blades. Finishing moves reduce the remaining cooldown of many rogue skills by 1 second per combo point spent. This affects almost every single ability. So this is great because you constantly have your CDs up. It is fantastic. I was playing this last night. We was raiding, we was doing dungeons, and oh my god, it is so fun to just spam your cooldowns. Then we have all the bones, which is, of course, providing a random combat enhancement for 30 seconds. And then, obviously, we've said Loaded Dice. So, on the next part of the tree, we have Blade Flurry. Obviously, this is your AoE ability. You always have to have this, no matter what, especially in dungeons as well. Then we have Fatal Flourish. Your offhand attacks have a 65% chance to generate 10 energy. So, it's all about keeping your energy high as much as you can and just popping them CDs, keeping a lot of uptime with your abilities, basically. Then we have Sleight of Hand. Roll the bones has 10% increased chance of granting additional matches, which is great. Takes away more of that luck. Then we're going into Dreadblades. Strike an enemy dealing a certain amount of damage, and then empowering your weapons for 10 seconds, causing your Sinister Strike, Ambush, and Pistol Shot to fill your combo points, but your finishing moves consume 5% health. It's not much health, really, consuming, and for every single one of your abilities that generates a combo point to instantly generate full combo points, it's a no-brainer. And then we have Greenskin Wickers. Between the odds of a 20% chance per combo point to increase the damage of your next pistol shot by 200%, which was also a legendary. So this is fantastic as well. You're putting out huge damage. Then finally, we have Hit and Run, movement speed increase. We have Improved Between the Eyes, critical strikes and Between the Eyes also deal 4 times normal damage. Then we have Quick Draw, half cost use of Pistol Shot granted by Sinister Strike, now generate 1 additional combo point and deal 20% damage. We have Improved Main Goosh. I don't know how you say it. I'm going to say Gauche. Then into Fan the Hammer. When Sinister Strike, additional time, gain 2 additional stacks of opportunity, max 6 stacks, half cost uses of Pistol Shot, consume 2 additional stacks of opportunity to fire 2 additional times. Then finally, we have Deft Maneuvers, increasing the range of your melee attacks while Blade Flurry is active. This is your Outlaw Rogue talents. These are what you're going to be running for single target, along with the legendaries that are Invigorating Shadow Dusts. So this basically, this new one here, Vanish reduces the remaining cooldown of your other abilities by 20 seconds. It goes really well with your new talent that makes all of your CDs lower. So every time you vanish, you get lower CDs. And then you're still going to be going Venfia Theater for your Covenant and Conduit selection, Soulbind. So here we are looking at the Mythic Dungeon talents for Outlaw Rogue. As you can see, almost nothing has changed. Nothing in the Rogue side of things and hardly anything in the Outlaw. So I'm going to point out, I'm going to put it above so you guys know the distinction between them both. This is Mythic Dungeon Talents, and the only difference is you're getting rid of Swift Slasher, you're getting rid of Sleight of Hand, and you're adding in Dancing Steel, Blade Flurry strikes 3 additional enemies, and increased duration, and you're adding in Precise Cuts, which Blade Flurry damage is increased by an additional 3% per missing target below its maximum. So, these are the only 2 extra talents for Mythic Dungeons. Everything else stays the same, and it's as simple as that. I will include the codes for both down below. Outlaw Dungeon, Outlaw Single Target. That is Outlaw Rogue in a nutshell. Legendary stays the same as a single target one, and Covenant of Choice stays the same. I hope you can really enjoy Outlaw in this pre-patch, because it is such a fun spec right now, and I'm loving every second of it. And that right there is pre-patch Outlaw Rogue for you. Things are set to change. It's going to set to get better. Things are going to swap up. It's not going to be the same for Dragonflight. So this is just for now. Go out there, enjoy yourself, experiment with builds. I've just given you some beginner flat builds that will work for what you want to do. Also, make sure you come and join us over on Twitch. We are almost at 12,000 followers. We are live Monday, Wednesday, Friday from around 7 PM BST till around 11 PM BST. We do lots of viewer raids and viewer dungeons, and let's just vibe out and hype up. I hope you enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you're thinking of the pre-patch, and I'll see you all on the next video. Peace!